Brilliant, brilliant. A very, very peppy and energetic video. It instills energy even in the lamest of the individual, I would say. Brilliant. And I'm sure today's chat is also going to be the very similar energetic one for sure, because we have none other than Padma Shri Dr. Mohsin Wali with us today, who happens to be one of the youngest physician to serve the President of India. And he is the only physician who has served three presidents of India. So, without much ado, Dr. Mohsin will straight away speak to you, sir. Welcome to the show, sir. And we are feeling honored to have you on our show.
Well, good evening. Vijay Vyapar Jagat means itself Vijay. Vijay
Thank
means
you.
victory.
Oh,
When
brilliant,
we have
brilliant.
Parth here, when we say, hey Parth,
Uh, yeah.
we go to Arjuna.
Yes,
Parth
yes, yes.
means
We call upon
a
you.
friend.
Oh, yes,
Parth
oh,
is
yes.
a friend. Parth is a fighter for solving out troubles. Parth is a fighter for truth.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you so
And
much.
Parth is our friend in need and friend indeed.
Indeed, sir. Indeed. My pleasure, sir. And it's my
So
honor as well, sir.
I congratulate you for this and your colleagues Bina and Sejal who had brought me here along with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And the session is dedicated to Corona. That is why we are meeting online.
Yes, yes, yes.
And
It is my honor.
this has also generated facility that more people can join us and more people can take part.
Of
So this
course.
is the positive side of the story. I always see the half glass full, not half glass empty.
Absolutely.
This
Absolutely,
is one
sir.
of the reasons. And I would start with हे पार्थ श्रम करने से शक्ति बढ़े ना बढ़े सहायता करने से जरूर बढ़ती है.
Oh,
So if
wow.
you
That's
help
lovely.
each other, if you put forward each other, then you get the benefit throughout.
Of course, sir. Hats off to the idea, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing and initiating this chat with such set of wise words. Sir,
Yes.
to
So,
put the topic through, uh, I want to put up an idea first, and we can build up the chat on the basis of that. Uh, Sir, I also had a significant part of my life being lived in a small city named Jamnagar, which is in Gujarat, and I had been in touch with couple of friends who did really well, but they always used to say that my grandfather came in with 10 rupee note in this city, and today they are multi-millionaires, and they have done really well, and they are majorly into exporting their products that they manufacture in the city. So in my opinion, there is a lot of talent, and there is a lot of positive spirit available in the small cities. But then your story is not very different from such people who made it big coming from a small town. So, sir, please share your story on your ideas on this, sir. How did you bloom, and what got you to this high?
but let me tell the audience that there is nothing like a small town. People who live
Brilliant,
in smaller places, they do more attention to the smallest details of everything.
brilliant.
I have people in my town who were very simple and who were extremely knowledgeable. And once I went just my father's friend's house, and the elderly gentleman, I just sat with him, and the first 5 minutes he was talking to me, and he would know at least 20 synonyms of a word.
Oh,
That is the
lovely.
level of knowledge with them.
Brilliant, brilliant. That's all.
And they were not very much taught in the colleges, but they were taught in an atmosphere around them and by their
Wow,
elders who had the Gyan Ka Bhandar.
lovely.
So there is nothing, there is no place I consider is smaller. While we sat in the larger towns, larger townships, metropolis, we hardly pay attention to the details.
True.
We suddenly miss some things because of the constraints of times. So when a place is small, your learning becomes bigger.
Wow.
Your teachers become more sincere,
True.
and you have less resources, so you value them. I
Absolutely.
remember in my house, in a lane of 10 houses, only my house had electricity. Only my house had a fridge. Those days there was no television, there was only radio. So people used to come in the evening to hear Biraka Gitmala
Aha.
on the Wednesday evenings. So it used to be a feast, and also it used to be a gathering,
True.
and then it used to be a union, communion,
Wow.
festivity. So smaller places are always good, and the smaller place people also become swavlambi. That is your
Ah,
motto.
indeed, indeed.
Because they trust in themselves, they have more confidence,
Absolutely.
and they dedicate themselves more towards work, and they don't waste time like people of metropolis and other. They waste time. I would say waste of time, because
A lot of
waste of
travel.
time is one in which we gain less and we spend more.
True.
So the formative days, I remember that I used to go to shop with my father. After my school, I used to go to shop. Then I used to spend my evenings there. Then he used to bring me home. We used to have bath and dinner. Then he would put me on accounting jobs. I would make as early as in class 7th or 8th accounting jobs of income tax and sales tax.
Hmm.
And I would complete his work.
Wow.
So as early as class 8, I started doing the job of accounting. And after that, when the time will finish, 10 o'clock he would sleep. And then was the time for me to do the schoolwork. Those days, schoolwork was quite a bit. It was called homework.
Yes.
And he would shout at 12, switch off the lights, because he would feel sleepy. So I had made a lamp by joining 8 torch cells, and I would take that lamp into my clothes and read
Oh,
it,
as a
because
guideline.
these teachers used to can us if you don't study, if you don't
Oh.
complete the work. So
Mm.
those were the days of excitement,
True. True.
and so many learning was involved. I was the monitor of the class, so I was the one who used to bring the cans for canning, and I was beaten occasionally when the can used to got broke. So these are the fine memories. Our teachers used to be very simple. They used to have only two set of clothes, two
Ah.
sets of chappal, at least one cycle. That's all. Few utensils in their houses, because we used to go to study tuitions at their
Oh.
houses. Very simple lives, but they had inculcated the morals, the sanskars in our
True.
childhood, which
True.
is most important. In
Absolutely.
the metropolis cities, the teachers just teach, but our teachers used to inculcate the good morals in us. They
True.
were concerned if we would not do proper work in the school, they would come to the shop of my father and they will complain that today your son has not completed the work.
Yeah. So
So they
PTM
were
could
concerned,
happen at any time.
genuinely concerned.
Yeah.
So that was the basic system of education, in which every teacher would mean that the student should learn not only the knowledge but also the sanskars, the
Right.
wisdom.
Right.
They would teach
True. True.
us out of the box things. Out of the box things.
True.
They would sometimes
Novel
teach us
ideas.
the various stories which were very important. Now we realize the important. Even my father would
Okay.
tell me, He was not a very literate person. He was a shopkeeper.
Right. Right.
But those days, he used to tell me such things on the shop, which I realize now is being taught in the master's section of the MBA,
Oh, okay. Okay.
advanced
Wow.
MBA, because
Wow.
his vision was very different. How to
Mm-hmm.
keep the customer happy, how to sell our
Oh,
stuff instead of selling the stuff which the customer is asking for, because our stuff is
okay.
the one which we distribute. We are the distributors. We make double the profit in that. While the customer is
Absolutely.
asking some other product, we make only single profit.
Mm-hmm.
So those were the formative days when I was learning, and now I realize that the same thing I did MBA couple
Uh-huh.
of years back, and
Okay.
then I realized that this is the thing which my father used to teach me when I was a child.
Ah,
So these are the things, very important things. Then in my childhood also, I used to learn through the various activities. Like sometimes I will play radio. I'll sit
mm,
next to the radio or play
wow.
like radio,
Wow.
and become अशोक वाजपेयी. ये आकाशवाणी है. अब आप अशोक वाजपेयी से समाचार सुनिए.
Right. Right. I
These
imitate
were
him. Yeah.
the things which were very exciting. That was the
Indeed.
only entertainment.
Indeed. Indeed. Agree.
Sometimes I used to copy my doctor, family doctor, how he would give injection.
Okay.
Sometimes I used to take out glass syringes which are used to wash the ear, and I sleep with them, and
Oh.
I will purport to be a doctor,
Okay. Okay.
and I would become patient and doctor both, and learn
Okay.
medicine and bed. So
Wow.
you emulate things.
So true.
Many things we learn in childhood, we acquire in childhood
True.
involuntarily.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it is rightly said, sir, that
Yes.
a child learns a lot by doing things and by observing which what is done, instead of simply learning from the school. But the school is not confined to the classrooms, but it is spread across the entire area which is surrounding a child, isn't it, sir?
Yeah, we used to come out. I used to grab the street children and I used to ask them, पामीर के पठार को संसार की छत क्यों कहते हैं? रेल की पटरियों को मिलाकर क्यों नहीं बिछाया जाता?
Right.
कश्मीर की घाटी को भारत का स्वर्ग क्यों कहते हैं?
Right. Right. Very simple
ऐसे
things.
गाय के मुकाबले में गर्मी क्यों ज्यादा लगती है? So that was the spirit of teaching. Sometimes I would read the footnotes and ask the teachers in the class, "Sir, what is
True.
this?"
Hmm.
So they would see the keenness of the knowledge in the child.
Oh, wow.
So
Lovely, lovely.
high discipline was involved during those days. The children and
Brilliant,
students used to have a lot of discipline. They were
brilliant.
obedient, and that is what was inculcated in the childhood.
Wow, wow, sir.
Life was simple.
Really hats off. Uh-huh. Really, really
Life
hats
was
off,
simple.
sir. Hats off. Very, very appreciable, sir. I am sure that our viewers are learning two major things. One is being observant and learning from each and every single thing that is coming across. And number two is discipline. Sir, am I missing anything?
No, discipline was most important facet, because
Absolutely.
that was the thing which was the basis of sound knowledge. And
Ah,
not only
exactly.
discipline was practiced at the school,
Right.
it was also practiced at home.
Of course,
The
of
family
course.
used to discipline us.
Right, right.
I
Two
could
things
not
being different
go
cannot help.
out. Yeah, I could not go out without telling my parents that I'm going out.
Wow,
So
lovely.
that gives both-sided benefit, the confidence in the parents and confidence in the child, which is missing these
Absolutely.
days.
It is indeed. It is indeed missing these days.
And
Indeed, sir.
there are losses because of that. Because
Very true. Very
at
true.
some stage, we miss the connect between the wisdom
Yeah,
and the experience.
absolutely. There
And
is a
that
gap.
connect is very important.
Absolutely. Absolutely, sir. Sir, thank you for such wonderful, wise words. And I'm sure our viewers are learning a lot out of this conversation. Sir, as I told in the introduction, that you were the youngest physician to serve the President of India. Now, being youngest, at at that age, people start flying above the ground and being awarded such responsibility, which makes one feel proud. During those days, what kept you grounded during those days?
No, no, this was the childhood sanskars which were given by my father actually. And
Oh,
my
oh, is it?
father's first teaching was to respect each and everyone so that you
Uh-huh.
remain grounded.
Oh,
His,
okay.
or-
Okay.
his order was that opposite our shop, anybody passes, you have to say namaskar.
Oh,
You have
wow.
to go. And we used to get down from the cycles when our teachers used to pass from the market, through the market. So
Oh,
this
wow.
was all inculcated in the childhood. And
Okay.
it was taught to us that if you respect others, you will get respect. Respect begets respect.
Of course, of course. So very
And
true. So very.
extreme discipline was the reason. And more importantly, even in the medical those days, when you get into medical, the first thing, which was probably the best and not regarded as the best, was we were given sanskars in the medicine also, which was called ragging, which is a bad word.
Of course.
Ragging is not ragging. In medicine, ragging is to teach respecting seniors. And
Wow.
somehow the ragging took an ugly shape and therefore it had become illegal. In the
Mm-hmm.
medicine teaching, ragging means to teach respect for the teachers, to inculcate respect for the gyan and knowledge, and
Mm-hmm.
to inculcate the respect for those who know more than you, who have more experience than you. But the word coined was wrong. So gradually,
Mm.
ragging became a bad word. It went into oblivion. People started doing wrong things in the name of ragging, and ragging is now illegal. But I must
Mm.
tell you, I'm not an advocate of ragging, but I'm an advocate of respect. Unless we have respect between seniors and juniors, we never learn. Like it is a guru shishya parampara.
Absolutely.
Medicine knowledge does not come from the books. It
Mm.
comes from and through bedside manners. It comes from the patients, not from the teachers.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
telling you very different statement. It comes from the patients because unless we examine patient, we see the patient, we learn through patient. The teacher also cannot teach us the medicine. And the best medicine is one which is taught bedside, not through the books.
Oh,
These very few
okay.
doctors know that actual medicine is taught through the personal experience on the medium of patients, not in the classroom, but in the wards.
So true.
And unless we have that knowledge, we can
The
never
rules
become
of
a good doctor.
that part of India that we kind of, or Indian business that we kind of take for granted and we have sometimes don't even look at.
Okay.
So let's begin by just watching a very.
Yes, sir. Please continue, sir.
So, the answer to your question is I remain grounded because I always confine my learning into the wards. I will give you one
Arey
example.
wow. Please,
There
please.
was a chart like this. Such charts are placed in the operation theaters and in which cases are written subacute intestinal obstruction, treatment, iliotransverse anastomosis. I was in third year, and in one evening I was standing in the
Mm-hmm.
final year class, which is going to appear in MBBS final. And I was just standing in that class. And the demonstrator was in the evening class teaching to the final year student. And an X-ray came up. I was standing with the final year boys and girls. And I was in third year. He asked, what is the diagnosis? So somebody said subacute intestinal obstruction. I immediately associated that chart, that treatment is iliotransverse anastomosis. And he said, treatment? तो पीछे से मैं बोला iliotransverse anastomosis. Who is this boy? वो सब देखने लग गया कि तो थर्ड ईयर का लड़का है, इसको कैसे पता? So this is what you were telling, observation and quest for knowledge is very important. And that is how I have learned the medicine, actually.
Wow.
And I have written in one of the papers today to tell you that I'm still a student. Yeah. Student till now.
Very humble.
Student till now. So unless you are a student, you can never be grounded. If you start thinking that you have become somebody, so you have become nobody.
Absolutely.
And second thing is that I never refused to attend my phone calls when I was a doctor. And I was in the service. So usually those days there were no mobile phones those days. There were land phones. And doctors on Saturday afternoon would put them off.
Okay.
So they don't get calls from the boss or from the patients. I never did that.
Okay.
And I was always available.
Right.
So same way when my boss called me to send for the interview for the presidential appointment, I was available. And that was his experience, that I was always available on VIP calls, on the weekends, on holidays. So a fine afternoon, this is very interesting. When I came home, the phone rang up. It was my MS, medical superintendent.
Right.
And he said on a very jovial tone, "Tum president ke physician banoge?" Then I said, "Sir, why you are joking? It's a very senior post." Then there is a demand for a younger doctor because seniors are not doing good work.
Okay.
So you come to my office on Monday and I'll send you to the ministry. So this was just a dream come true.
Absolutely.
And then the most important part was my professor under whom I was working was also in the interview for the same board.
Okay.
So I was the youngest in the interview also. And President Venkatraman himself took my interview.
Oh, wow.
And
Brilliant.
you know on what point he appointed me was, he asked me a question, how would you treat me? And I told His Excellency that I will treat you like any other patient.
Absolutely.
And then he asked me, why do you say so? I said, I say so because if I imbibe in my mind that I'm treating a VVIP, I will make some mistakes. So he said, yes, that is what we also don't want. So this is what was the approach, and I always remain grounded. I still remain grounded because in medicine we are never sure. There is a reason to be grounded in medicine because in medicine 2 and 2 don't make 4. In mathematics they can make 4. So we can never be correct absolutely in medicine, and we keep learning all the time. So we are always a student and we can always be wrong. So if we realize that, only then we can become a good, successful doctor. Those doctors who become heavy-headed, they think they know more, they hardly know anything. Because each time we see a new case, we learn the new medicine, which is different from the... So medicine is, as we say, that it is everyday science.
Absolutely.
As we say, it is everyday science. It is everyday changing science. We keep learning through medicine, through patients. Am I audible?
Absolutely audible, sir. Absolutely, sir.
So medicine is a very peculiar area,
Very
which
true.
I
Very
am trying to tell you is totally different story, because
true.
I am a realistic doctor.
Absolutely.
I have worked my whole life without taking any leave.
Oh,
I
wow.
have worked
Wow.
with presidents without taking leave. I have worked with one former prime minister without taking any leave. I have worked with two first ladies, that is Mrs.
Oh,
Abida Ahmad and Mrs. Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad, without taking leave.
oh, brilliant. Brilliant.
And when I retired, my office staff told me that, where is your service book? I said, this
Hmm.
is my service book.
Right.
And they said, there is no entry of holidays, chutti, leave.
Absolutely.
I said, I have
Absolutely.
never take leave,
Hanji.
because
Right.
my leave was always utilized for the VVIP work. Because I have
Very
also worked with the same passion for the poor people in the hospital as for the passion I have worked for the VVIP.
lovely. Lovely. Brilliant.
So
Brilliant.
for each VIP you see, you should see 10 poor people. That is the rule that keeps you in balance and check.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Absolutely
And
brilliant.
there are certain things I would like to say in this program, that there is a
Please.
famous couplet, "Diyare ishq mein apna muqam paida kar." In the realm of God, create a niche of your own,
Hmm.
and that's how you can sail through.
Wow.
And the real knowledge is understanding. In medicine, this applies so.
Uh-huh.
And I was reading about one of the Nobel laureates, Richard
Mhm.
Feynman Phillips,
Wow.
and he was narrating that while he was going for a walk with
Uh-huh.
his father used to teach him on walk. But one day
Okay.
his school colleague said, "What have your father taught you about this bird?"
Mm-hmm.
So Richard Feynman said, his colleague asked, "What is the name of this bird?" So Feynman said, "I
Okay.
don't know." Feynman was very fond of saying, "I don't know," because he used to accept his ignorance, being such a
Okay.
big Nobel
Okay.
laureate later on in his life. So then his friend asked that this bird is called brown throated thrush. Then Feynman
Okay.
said, "No, it is also called in Portuguese Hanto la Pero. In Italian,
Oh,
it is
okay.
called Chuto la Pitadilla. In Chinese, it
Oh,
is called Chung Wanta. In German, it is called Frieden Tiger. Names do not matter, my dear. It is understanding about this bird which matter." So
wonderful examples.
that is what is medicine. If you don't understand medicine, you don't know anything.
Wonderful.
So
Wonderful example.
medicine lies in now in each, we used to say in each cell, now it lies in each genome,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and now beyond genome, it is
So,
epigenome. We talk
so,
about epigenetics. So
so true.
medicine is a peculiar science,
Very true.
and
Very true.
now beyond epigenetics, CRISPR. So these
So,
things are now being advanced to the smallest particles.
absolutely. Absolutely. Things have quite advanced in that field, I'm sure. So, sir, if I translate your ideas into the entrepreneur's sphere, then correct me in case if I'm wrong. The key takeaway here is for the entrepreneurs that never, ever sit quiet, keep on innovating, keep a spirit to serve the last person available in the society. And then your entrepreneurial journey will be, in real terms, a service to the society, giving you the benefits that you wish for and you have longed for. Sir, in case if I'm wrong, please correct me, sir. Have I
No,
translated it right?
in a couplet same way, अपने मन में डूब कर पाचा सुरागे जिंदगी, अपने मन में डूब कर पाजा सुरागे जिंदगी, तू अगर मेरा नहीं बनता न बन, अपना तो बन.
अरे वाह, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. बहुत अच्छे, बहुत अच्छे. So, sir, in your life, what is the inspiration for you, sir? What inspires you?
See, my inspiration was everybody. Basically, I can say my inspiration was my colleagues. I used to emulate my colleagues.
Okay.
I used to copy their handwriting, who had the best handwriting in a given class. That's how, that was the first beginning of the learning in the class.
Oh, okay.
And then my father, my mother, my
Mm-hmm.
teachers,
Wow.
and you see, those days they were Hindi couplets were taught, and they used to say, "सोने को कूड़े में से भी उठा लेना चाहिए, सार सार को गा दे तोता दे उड़ाए." The general teaching was such that you should acquire knowledge and wisdom from each and everyone.
Right. Right.
So everybody used to be inspiration.
Uh-huh. Okay. So,
Everybody used to be inspiration. Everybody for that.
right, right.
Everybody.
So, sir, in those days, what were your key learnings from the school? I mean, during the school days.
School days were very good. Our teachers, as I told you, were very simple.
Okay.
Uh, they used to teach us out of the box in a small
Uh-huh.
town like that. They were concerned. I was telling the other day in one of the videos of Deepavali that we used to make diyas in the school in the evening of Diwali. We were taught how to put them on the bamboos, stick them with the mud. We used to come to the
Right.
school in the evenings of Deepavali. So simple things were taught.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
there was involvement. There was more of positivity. There was more of belonging. So these were the
Right.
good things those days. Now, if we talk about these things, people don't believe. Even my
So true.
children
So
would
true.
not believe what I am talking today to you.
Indeed.
And
Indeed. So the key.
second was there those days the radio programs, Akashvani, news, even politicians used to be very positive.
Uh-huh.
We used to learn from the speeches of Indira Gandhi.
Mm-hmm.
Those days, Nehru ji. When I was a child, Lal Bahadur Shastri Sahab was Prime Minister of India, and we used to learn from his speeches. Whenever he has a speech, there was a bhompu in the school that mic was put,
Okay. Right.
and all used to get collected around that.
Okay.
Like Man Ki Baat these days. Those
Yeah.
days when Prime Minister's speech used to come through Akashvani or All India Radio, we used to get
Right.
collected. And there were morals talked. So there was much
True.
learning through every source. Every source used to be an inspiration. Not
Right.
only
Right.
teachers, but even
Lovely.
a
Lovely.
sabzi wala was honest. If you gave a 20 rupees instead of 10 rupees, he would return politely 10 rupees. That Babuji, ye 10 rupees aapne galti se zyada de diya.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow.
learning was in the air. Learning
Absolutely.
was in the air.
Absolutely, absolutely. Brilliant, brilliant, sir. Really appreciable part is the observation that you have had so far in the life. So, sir, being the youngest physician serving the President of India, from there you kept on rising, from serving one to three, and it just went on and on and on. So, during this rise of yours in terms of your career, whom do you value to get these higher positions, sir?
No, actually, when you enter in such a responsible position, then you are serving the first lady and the first citizen of India.
Yeah,
So it's a very responsible job.
true.
It is a zero error job. You
Absolutely.
cannot afford to make mistake. I will tell you I will tell you two small incidents.
Please do, sir.
On second or third day, it was a winter, January month when I joined. And President Venkatraman was an old timer, obviously. So he asked me to come at 6 o'clock. He used to get his blood sugar checked, and I was not aware of it. So I was told to come at 6 o'clock and do his blood sugar. And when I reached to his room, it was 120 seconds past 6 o'clock, 2 minutes late.
2 minutes late. Yeah.
And I was told by his attendant very politely that Saab has taken coffee, come tomorrow.
Oh,
So that was the first lesson there. Said if he calls you at 6 o'clock, it means 5:50, not 6.
absolutely.
Because old timer people don't go by clock. They are already present there before time. So that
Absolutely.
was, and since then I never became late in my
Wow.
any of the program.
Lovely.
So
Lovely.
that was the first experience. Second was when after a few months when we went to the Gangotri, and the first lady required some medicine which she probably forgot that I have not given to her. Some other doctor gave to her. And at the top of hill, there was no telephone those days. We used to have a
Mm.
military telephone
Oh,
in which
okay.
we pulled and talked and we pushed and talked
Oh,
through
okay.
the district headquarters.
Oh, okay.
And she asked me to get a blue capsule. She would forget the name, and I would also forget the name which she is asking because I never gave it to her.
Wow. Okay.
So it was an amusement at the top of Jamnotri, and she was asking, Doctor, give me that blue one. It was a joke also for a few days. So such experiences happen in the VIP care. And
Right.
then I called the DM that all the blue capsules of painkiller capsule variety, bring them at the top of hill and I would present it to the first lady. It is required.
Right.
So
Right.
obviously it was one of them. But you see,
Uh-huh.
you have to manage. The most
True.
important thing when you deal with the president, you have to manage. Buy, borrow, or steal, you have to manage.
By any
And
chance. Yeah.
royalties, they don't want to listen, no. So I have
Absolutely.
worked in such an atmosphere for many decades in which I could never say no to anyone.
So true.
So
So true.
saying no is not possible. So even to my common patient today, I never say no.
Lovely.
So
Lovely.
the
Lovely.
positivity, this is called positivity in life, which is
So
very,
true.
very
So true.
difficult, very easy to talk, but very difficult to inculcate.
That- Absolutely. Absolutely. Positivity cannot remain just a story. It has to be lived actually. Uh,
Lived, it
so
is difficult to
absolutely.
inculcate.
Very, very difficult. Very difficult. So, sir, I need some of your, wise words on your idea on our, mission about vyaparjagat.com and the kind of award ceremony that we have planned in the next month. We need some of your opinions on that, sir. Some of your words on that.
I wish
What
you
do you
all
think?
and
How the
to you and to all of your team, I wish a great success. The Vyapar Jagat
right?
is changing. People are
Yeah.
now becoming self-reliant. I remember those days
Yeah.
when we even could not make pens. The pens used to, fountain pens used to be imported. The fastener buttons were of 555 brand imported. Everything was imported. Even the wheat we used to import.
Right.
So this
Oh,
Swavlamban and Atmanirbhar Bharat has become a great country now with lot of hard work by
true.
youngsters, people of your
True.
generation. And I
Thank
wish
you.
you and your team a great success.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
And this Atmanirbhar Bharat means a great thing.
Of course.
Atmanirbhar Bharat means that we can do anything in India and we are capable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And second thing is that we have proven this. Most of the time
Right.
when we have tried to prove this, some of the developments have got diluted by the explosion of population. Otherwise,
Right. Right.
I was telling all these last 6 months that India is the biggest supplier of vaccines to the whole world.
True. True.
We are
Absolutely.
leaders in many things like leather industry, food processing industry, uh, handicrafts, many
Right.
things which the other
Not
countries are never even near.
right.
So I wish all your programs a great success and
Thank you.
Vijay is Vijay itself. And when there is a path, there is no question of losing the game, losing the battle.
Thank you. Thank you.
And,
Thank you. Thank you so much for such encouraging words, sir.
and India is a born commercial country. India is a
True.
born commercial country, and we have evolved zero. We have evolved zero, and we can put zero in front of any number. We can make profit. So that is proven.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely. Wonderful, encouraging words, sir. But, sir, allow me to tell you that, now the youngsters have played a major role indeed to let this nation grow. But
Yeah,
I'm very, very sure that, yeah,
through MSME, I have addressed several sessions of MSME, and
oh, lovely,
their
lovely.
youngsters are full of great ideas.
Absolutely, absolutely. But sir,
So
I would like to tell you, sir, that people like you are actually the guiding bodies and inspirational sources to allow us to achieve such heights, sir. I'm really thankful for your humbleness and humble words, sir. Thank you so much. So, sir, last question from my end. I need to respect time as well. Uh, sir, in terms of geriatric medicine, I learned that you have contributed heavily to let it come to India, and that is the subject which is very dear to me as well. Because what I see from here is that there is going to be a large population which will be falling into that profile, but not much of the apparatus, not much of the arrangements are available in our country, and simply building old age homes is not going to be sufficient for sure. So, when it comes to entrepreneurship and geriatric medicine or geriatric care, according to you, sir, what are the opportunities available and what all things can come up in that area, sir?
no, the story is very peculiar. When I went to University of Michigan, everybody was asking me why you have come for geriatric fellowship. In America, people come for cardiology and all. I said we have best cardiology in India. I Whenever I used to call the best doctors for the president, they used to run to the Rashtrapati Bhavan. But then I used to think, are these same doctors available for common man so readily? And the answer came no.
Oh,
So I thought that we should develop under one roof care in which an old patient requires cardiology, neurology, prostate, liver, every care under one roof.
wow.
So that is actually the mission of gerontology. It is not called geriatrics. And
Okay.
very interestingly, when I took a cake on my 60th birthday to President Pranab Mukherjee, he never congratulated me. He said, "Which is your birthday?" I said, 60th birthday. So first thing, instead of happy birthday, he told me was, it is the right age.
Right.
So 60 and beyond is the right age for which we should serve our elders.
So
And
true.
they are the source of wisdom. And we should
Right.
nurture them, we should respect them, we should inculcate them, and we should prolong their life expectancy. This
Right.
is most important. Now,
Absolutely.
India is a country of youngsters, young people, but we should keep our elders alive and their experience alive.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If we nurture the experience of our elders, we would be doing better job because they have
Absolutely.
wisdom. So to keep
Absolutely.
that
Absolutely.
wisdom intact, we have to keep their health intact. And to keep
So
their
true.
health
So true.
intact, we have to ensure them, we have to make them financially strong, we have to provide them better amenities, better service,
So true.
and in return they can give us many more things which we can't buy for the money. So it's
Absolutely.
a very good
Absolutely.
investment to take care of our elderly people. And geriatric care to me means no geriatric homes properly, but to have a composite living with health for all, including elderly, and
Right.
care, medical care under one roof. And this is my
Okay.
concept.
Okay. Okay.
All the facilities should walk to the elderly patient, not that elderly patient has to go to 7 hospitals for 7 problems.
Oh, wow. Wow.
He should have all care under one roof. I'm repeating this
Mhm.
3 times. And that
Okay.
means
Okay.
that we should provide composite medical coverage, activities of daily life, social
Okay.
living,
Wow.
and also society interaction with them at the same place where they are living.
Okay. Okay. Hmm.
And the Western world is now realizing very late that this was most important part of our culture, which we have lost. And they learned from India.
Absolutely.
Sanskars, Vasudev Kutumbakam,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ekeva Manush Jati. They learned from India.
True. True.
So these things are very important. We should regenerate the healthy living in the society. And I
Brilliant.
would end this statement with a joke that in a wedding, it was restricted that no elderly man will come, and the wedding party went without elderly gentlemen, all
Okay.
youngsters.
Oh,
And when
okay.
the wedding party went, it was a village wedding. The girl's father put a condition that I will tie your hands with a plank like this at the elbow, and you have to
Okay.
eat the food. Only then I will give you my daughter.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And all the youngsters were tied up,
Okay.
and the food was served.
Okay.
Then they were zapped that it is a matter of humiliation how we would take this bride.
True.
So
True.
one of the youngsters hid an old man in a gunny bag.
Right.
They went to him and asked, Baba, how we save our respect? The Baba said, you sit in front of each other, lift the food and put into the other mouth, and the front man lifts the food and puts in somebody sitting in the front whose mouth. So that
Lovely.
is how the
Lovely.
respect was saved.
Lovely. Lovely.
So old people have wisdom.
True. True.
So we cannot live without old people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And sir, that is indeed coming from wise words like a wise person like you. And I'm sure old people are going to do wonders, because I still remember my father. When he said that Parth, you have to be very careful for a single drop falling from the tap. You have to ensure that tap is properly closed. Not a single
Even
drop
salt,
should be wasted.
they were very careful for salt, water,
Exactly.
paper.
Exactly.
Paper, they would not waste even a small paper like this. They would write
Exactly.
2 letters. In this size
Exactly.
of paper, 1 letter, and in this
Absolutely.
size, 2 letters.
Absolutely. And today I'm able to understand that that was a much larger picture, actually. That tap and the drop of the water was merely a metaphor. And there are a lot of things that come in and day out to us, about which we need to be very, very careful. And if we are careful for the smallest of the things available around us, we could do wonders in our lives for sure. So, sir, great things great learnings from you in last 50 odd minutes. Thank you so much. Now, I would like to ask my volunteers, my team members, to let the floor open to the audience in case if they have any questions. So, could we have some questions in case if somebody has? Uh, Vishal, could you help me, please? Does anybody have any question? We have got Suresh Thakur with us. We have got Arpit Kumar Mehta with us. We have got some other fellows as well. So, yeah. So, anybody has any questions? Anything from the Facebook or any other platforms? Do we have anybody? Vishal?
I think no question.
Okay, okay, nothing as of now. Fine. So, no worries, sir. At last, before we leave, sir, on behalf of vyaparjagat.com, I would like to thank your good self for sparing this valuable time and giving your absolute pearls of wisdom and sharing the same with our audiences. I'm really, really thankful. Your humbleness have taught one more lesson to all of us, that to whatever heights that we grow to, but we have to always remain grounded, and being humble is the key to the happiness. Thank you again. Thank you so much, sir.
Most
Thank you.
importantly, we should be grateful to our parents, due to which we
Indeed.
are here.
Indeed.
As
Indeed.
we also talked about it. And
Indeed. Indeed.
I would end it with a Urdu couplet that
Indeed.
ये रहमतें ये सरवतें यूं ही नहीं मिली हैं, माँ बाप की दुआ है, अल्लाह का करम है.
Arre
So
wah,
these
arre
are the
wah.
blessings of our parents through which we achieve
Absolutely.
something, and we should always remain grateful to our parents, due to whom we are
Absolutely.
here in this world, and our teachers and
True.
our friends,
True.
and our
True.
favorite friends also.
So true.
And
So
be spiritual in your every effort, and
absolutely.
try to serve each other with a positive spirit, and
Absolutely.
no matter who you are, you can serve each other. There is a
True.
drop
True.
of rain. It has two options: either it falls on the surface of the sea and becomes the power of the sea, it becomes a powerful wave,
Right.
or it goes down to a CP and just settles like a brilliant moti. Choice is
Wow.
yours.
Choice is yours. Indeed. Indeed. Once again, sir. Hats off. Hats off, sir. Fine, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us, sir, and sharing your wonderful wisdom, sir, with us. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, good night, friends. I'm sure this have been a wonderful learning session for you all. Thank you all for being part of this session. Thank you again. Thank you.